Turn this light off, it wrecks my eyes. Question is it working? Should we try and find some relaxing music? Podcast link and it's just podcasts. The question is it coming out of my headphones or the computer? You guys hear it? Yeah. Cool. So if we Patreon that we're live. Go from there. Also gives me a minute to charge my headset a little bit more, which is rather helpful. Cool. We got anyone in? Got a couple of people. That's good. I changed the size of my textures in the template and now it makes it look really small. So I don't know whether to revert it back. It's also inverted on that wall. Cool, let's pop this in and we'll see how much it changes. I'm currently waiting for my headset to charge a little bit and then we can jump in and take a look at it. That looks alright. Still looks a bit big. Materials. Grid materials. This is the point where you start doing stuff and you're trying to figure out whether it's worth doing or not worth doing. 1024 is going to be way too big. 256 half res. By default it's on 200. I increased the resolution, so floor looks good, but the walls is a bit high. Just been trying to make it look a little bit better without having to add too much to it. I thought them UVs were stretched, but it's a box. Hey, it's looking cleaner. New texture, new material. If I bring a cube in, which is 1 meter. Cool, so it's a 2 meter texture, that's fine. Exactly what we want. And if we want to, we could go into here as well and we could drop this down to 100. Which might be best to leave it at. One thing I did do is I upped the resolution of the grid material, so I made a new one in Photoshop. So I made a new one at 512 by 512, so we've still got power of 2, but the idea is that it's sharper, so when we're on the quest in the build mode, or in the standalone APK, it shouldn't have as much aliasing. But what I do need to do is go in there and set it up a bit. I need to delete that one. So we use triplanar, or trilinear. Which one is it? Downscale options. It's in here somewhere. Filter. So we've got nearest, bilinear, and trilinear. But I was reading this post, which I don't know if anybody's seen this. It's really handy if you haven't. But I'll put it in the chat. That covers pretty much common rendering mistakes and how to fix them. And one of the sections in here goes on to say about, where is it, trilinear for floors. See here, blurry floors. This is one of the issues we've got, is because we're putting lines on it and we're using a grid material. So the idea is that we can use, I'm pretty sure it is trilinear. So have you noticed that when you look at the floor, especially in the distance, it tends to look much blurrier than it should, but when you look straight down it looks fine. The reason for the lower resolution is that when you're looking at something at a sharp angle, the sample rate of pixels is much higher than in one dimension of the texture and much lower in the other, and so it picks up the lesser of the two uses. That picks the mipmap. So the mipmaps, for anyone wondering, is generated by Unreal, and it's kind of like an LOD system for textures. So I'm at 512 here, that's the maximum. So you imagine half of that is going to be 256, and then half of that is going to be 128, and then so on, and it goes down. So we've got 10 different levels, which I imagine will probably go down to like 4 pixels. and then we can use that with the fast encoding to then speed up performance. But the problem is, if you test it in an APK build, as your camera gets further away, you see a harsh edge where it's doing that drop. So the article here is basically saying we can use anisotropy filtering, which is mildly expensive, but it'll overlap two different versions, and then you lose that split. So it's a more subtle fall off. But they pretty much explain this with Unity and I think the trilinear. So GIF below provides a side-by-side comparison of applying a trilinear filter, so left versus a trilinear with anisotropic filter. And the anisotropic filter is what I'm not too sure about. But yeah, because that looks so much better. And that would be great. Show game, hey! It's good to see you again. Duarte Mortar, hopefully I said that right. Good morning. It's good to see you. Currently doing some optimization stuff and going to try and figure out where anisotropic filter is within Unreal. If the music's too loud, just let me know, or if there's anything else. I also forgot to change the stream resolution, so we're streaming in 4K, and YouTube shouting at me. So when it comes to putting the headset on, it might be a little bit of a pain. Trilinear is what it says, versus a trilinear with anisotropic filter. The question is, can we do that? Should be good. Okay, so we can use the console command to maybe modify that. It's going to be difficult to test on the PC, so we might have to do a build to the headset and then see if we can just stream it for you guys to see. Because we've already changed the texture to trilinear. So we do trilinear, and then we run aniscopic. Aniscopic? Can't even say it properly. Anisotropy? Anisotropy? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm reading it. Wait, you want to read it? Max anisotropy. Anisotropy. Tropy? Either way, that's what it is. That's what we're looking at. So what got me down this rabbit hole was the idea of fixing the aliasing on this text in the level, but I think I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and just ignore it because it's pretty bad. Ursula, hey, quick question, go for it. Let's see what it is. Okay, let's do a build, and we're just gonna see how it looks. I'll do developer hub, and then we can actually go from there. And while we're doing that, I will set up my headset because I forgot to charge it this morning. There we go, booting up. But yeah, if you haven't seen this article before, it's really helpful. It's like all of that. That's interesting. I wonder if Unreal has an extra padding. After posting a complaint with it, I just realized that by moving by very small amounts. Galvanic, hey! That's all. I'm working on a VR game based on the UVR template. And I follow the VR pawn settings and player start according to the template. I'm spawning mid-air. You either need to lower down your player spawn, player start, or if you've set up smooth locomotion, you have a scene component, which is your VR origin. You need to move that to the bottom of the capsule, and then that will hopefully put you on the floor and line you up, which would be cool. Good to see you today. I'm glad to be here today. It's been a long week. It's the first time I've had some free time, and I've only got till 1. So we're going to do a couple of hours and see what we can get done, because I want this update out today, which is cool. The new colour of the walls make it look fresh. That was the idea. I was getting really bored of the orange walls. I want something tidy and neat. I was considering doing like a full modular mesh system, so building some models for it, and I was like, I don't have time. So going from there. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing well, just a bit stressed. We're currently trying to move house and then do work, so we've got a week to get everything sorted, which is why I'm trying to get the template updated. 4 days. Just more stress, man. Alright, it's not a week, it's 4 days. We got 4 days to get it going. But yeah. It's stressful. Hope you're doing well. That's it. Would there be a better way to make my own origin tracking so the player always spawns on feet in VR? If you go on the channel and look for the Half-Life Alyx tutorial, it'll do exactly that for you. The player start capsule is half in the floor, half up like the VR template. I also looked in your GDXR template, but I was still confused. So yeah, for the capsule, if you're doing smooth locomotion, you need to make sure the player start is on the floor, not in the floor. It's a different setup. Where is my player start? Where did I move you to? There we are. So you can see here that it's actually on the floor, and then you'll align correctly. So you need to keep inside of that. Oh yeah, you've been moving as well. How's it going? It's going like really not well. There's so much to do. We only got confirmation that we got the place and got all the documentation signed, which reminds me, you've got an email, you done it?
I've got the email, I'll read through it, and I just want to know.
Yeah, it's fine. Me and Tara both signed it. So we're still sorting out the documentation, but we only got it on Tuesday, so it's been absolute crazy rush. But yeah, did you get the network and stuff done at the new place? Nope, we have nothing. So I will be relying on my mobile phone hotspot for about a week. Or go to my grandma's house, stealing her Wi-Fi. But yeah, I haven't asked her that yet. What we got? We did a build. We're going to put it onto the headset. And then we're going to test that out. Build, new build. SEC. Does anybody else want to test out this build? If anybody's interested in testing it out, I can put a build on the Discord. Or I can put the APK up on the Discord for you. I can use the GDXR UVRT channel. And then I can just pop that in there. Stream build. Come on. Okay, headsets on. Build's going up to Discord for anybody who wants to try it. We have a folder. Let's install it, and what I'll do is I'll boot up streaming so you guys can see what I'm seeing through the headset, and we'll see if we can get a read on the filtering. We'll be good. For anybody testing it, just keep in mind that the text on the walls is aliasing really badly because of the way it's set up. I did spend like 3 hours yesterday trying to implement a different system, but the problem with the stereo layers is it was showing through the walls, and I had to go through and make individual textures for each section of text. For example, this would have been 512 by 512 image. This section would have been 512 by 512 image, and so on. So you can imagine loading all of those textures in is just not going to be functional. It beats the whole point of a performance passive. I'm just loading it up with more images. So I kind of scrapped that idea. And at the end of the day, the text is not what people are using it for. So I'm trying to pick my battles and figure out what it is we're going with first. Come on, turn on. My controller's dead as well. Yeah. Oh, one's just turned on. It says they're restarted, but I can't see anything. Oh, I've got the right's tracking. Battery's pretty much dead on that. Left isn't. Okay, either way, we only need to check textures on the floor. So we can boot it up. Cool. Oh, that looks better. That looks way better. It's subtle. I don't know if you can see it on the stream. But changing that filtering is way better. Aliasing on the actual models is really nice. But aliasing on the text is horrific. But I can't really fix it. Like, it gets really bad. Try to do it without punching my desk. Cool. The stuttering is because of PSO caching as well. I also modified gravity a little bit. Cool. I built this one in as well yesterday. So we got a new little fuse example. So you can put the fuses in and then it'll turn the lights on. And that's what we need to look at as well. Doing the lights. I've also been through and changed the timers on everything in the game. Now it's optimized so we can actually have it as 0.01. And it makes everything feel so much smoother. The scene is really freaking dark though. Super dark. What have I missed? Also, after a month of thinking, I'm contemplating scope down my project from 7 hours to 3 to 4 hours max. Still no shit. Dude, if you think that would be best, then do it. There's no point keeping a project for 7 hours. That's typically the size of a medium studio game. 3 to 4 hours, I think, for an indie project is still pushing it. That's why a lot of indie games rely on replayability. So you can go through and then do that. I think 3 hours is pretty good. Short game. 3 hours is a bit short in my opinion. Now it depends on how good these 3 hours are. I'd rather play a short, intense game for 40 hours. Boring. See, the thing is though, you've got to take into account how long people have their VR headsets on. Typically, players aren't in a VR headset for very long. That could be a case of 3 sessions. So 3 hours over 3 sessions that you've got them is still really good. And especially for a first game. First game doesn't need to be really long. And then you can put the effort into the next game. Use the first short one to get your market, get your target audience, hook them in as a studio, and then use that to drive development of the next game, which can be longer. I think Pirate Software gave a fantastic example of that, of being like, start small, maybe medium, go back to small, and then you could do a large one, and then you go back to small. He explained it way better than me, but it's definitely worth thinking about. If it takes you 3 years to build like a 7-hour game, that's a lot of time. You could even do it as like episodes, split it up into like 3-hour slots. Vader Immortal did the same thing. They have their game and it's broken down into different projects. There's nothing stopping you from doing that as a developer. It's better to release something than nothing at all. That's what you got to consider. I don't know what I can do to make this lighting pop. See, if I was using unlit materials, it wouldn't be a problem, but because we're using lit materials, that's the thing. Indirect lighting, quality, environment, color. Add a little bit of white to the environment color. I'm not too sure if this is going to blow it out too much. And go from there. So guys, everything as well. The demo is almost 1 hour itself, and starting is 30 minutes. I still need to work on the other 9 levels. A demo is typically about half hour long. So an hour for a demo is quite long. Because there's typically a refund period as well. That's what you got to consider from the player side. I was actually having this conversation with my brother last night about indie devs releasing games, and then it was just a meme that was like buying indie games so you could speedrun them within an hour so you can get a refund from Steam. And it's like, that's what you got to try to avoid as well. You want to make sure your game's long enough that the people playing it are getting a reasonable amount of gameplay and it's not dragged out, but they're also not able to get that refund if they finish the game, and then you've spent all that time on it and you're still basically shit out of luck. The refund is around 3 hours. Okay. So that's still 3 hours that you've got to make super engaging. So bringing your game down from 7 hours to 4 hours would give it enough time. You've got enough time to break that apart. 3 hours, then an extra for the overhead, and to go from there. What can I do? I've changed lighting intensity, environment intensity, diffuse boost. Let's do this. Ambient occlusion. Might turn off ambient occlusion. I don't think we need it. And then compressed light maps should be fine. And then I'm going to turn that off and then build lighting. I'm not too worried about how the desktop version looks. Just focused on the mobile build. 3 hours is crazy. I agree with that. 3 hours is way too long for a refund. Some indie games are just... indie games are really good and really short, and that's just really unfair. Shouldn't take too long. But yeah, there's just a lot of variables to consider, and that's the main issue. I really wish Unreal implemented the freaking tone mapping stuff from the Oculus source build already. The refund period is within 14 days and player time less than 2 hours. Okay, That's not too bad. If you buy a game and don't play it in 14 days, it makes sense to not do that. Alright, this has brightened everything up. So if we go to this, it looks a little bit better, but I think the values are still too high. Build. Oh, thank you. Alright, build, we're gonna... Didn't change. So environment intensity is what we're working with then. And then boost like that. This is always the worst part, is trying to balance these values. Because if you were to build your game for mobile properly, you'd have unlit materials anyway. So you try to consider that. So you wouldn't actually have to do any of the light build stuff. It would just all be done in your modeling program. But that workflow is, as we've seen in other streams, a right pain to deal with. So is anybody working on anything fun? You guys up to much? No, Galvanic's working on their game. Curious if anybody else is working on anything. Work around it without transparent borders. Galvanic, so I'll join you back in 15 minutes. Have to drive home, just come out, give my younger brother his lunchbox at his class. No worries, dude, it's all good. See you in 15. I was working on the teaser trailer before coming out. Can't wait to see it. Enable light maps, do this for all textures. Enable bitmaps, enable trilinear filtering. On your environment textures, turn on anisotropic filtering. So environment is anything in the level, which is what it's going to be. Wow, this got really bright. That's looking much better though. I can keep it like that, but I can make the shadows darker. Might be able to kind of fake it a little bit. Gonna make build lighting. Still working on my PSVR 2 game. Nice. Also, I'm on a 1-year waiting list for PS Devkits. Damn. At least you know it's on the way though, like Show Game said. That's pretty cool. Build. I'm going to build this and see what breaks. which would be good. Still not sure, but we're just going to win this. I wonder if you've got to wait for somebody else's dev kit, or if they just make them and then send them out. I imagine it's like a renting system. I haven't read the documentation for it. I imagine it's behind an NDA, which most things Sony is, and Microsoft. Say that everything's behind an NDA these days. Yeah. Yeah, but this new small indie party should be granted one. I would love one. I might consider it once I've moved. I'll have a look at setting one up. That made the lighting worse. So it's either because I changed the directional light intensity, or because I changed the skylight. Let's have a look. My dev kit still had the previous dev's game on it. That's not bad. If someone comes up on a priority, then they will get it. That makes sense. I imagine they've got bigger partners and bigger clients that they want to make sure I get them. But then again, you'd think for stuff like that, they would just manufacture some more. I was working on a physics-based grab system, but I couldn't get individual fingers to collide properly with the objects. And I really lost motivation after that. Physics is difficult. Physics is difficult. I've managed to get it working in my custom build, but it's still not a simple thing to get sorted. Directional light. I can't tell what's changing on this. Directional light, light color. Ah, it's because I changed the thing. Put that back to white. This is going to blow it right out, but it'll give us a better idea of what's going on. But yeah, for physics hands, think about adding just colliders to the fingertips. Don't do it in the physics asset, because it just makes the fingers fall through the floor, apparently. I never had any luck with it. But yeah, in the blueprint for the player, just attach the spheres and like little bubbles to the fingers, to the bones, and then it should work well enough that you can actually touch stuff and poke things. And you can go from there. I broke my physics build, so I can't. It's no point showing it because it's only the left hand that works. But yeah. Show game. Have you seen the Hitman 3 quest report released yesterday? Optimization, peak performance. Honestly, it's what made me want to do a stream this morning. I watched a guy play it, and I've never seen something so bad on a mobile platform. Oh, it's so bad. But yes, I've seen it. I kind of wish I had seen it, because it's just oh, it's a moment to relive. It's bad. Like almost everything in it is genuinely really bad. Like I could bring up screenshots and I could just break down what's wrong with it. But I don't want to do a stream where I'm just crapping over other people's stuff, because it's still a challenge at the end of the day. Like, we're all doing VR dev, you know how difficult it is to get stuff to run on a mobile. But it should have been delayed, or just had freaking VR added to it. But it doesn't look like they've done that. It still looks like an Xbox controller game on a VR headset with a 360 camera. Pretty bad. That looks... Now you got to admit that looks way better. Why is the sky so dark? Why is the sky material so dark? Emissive unlit. Let's have a look. That might be too bright. Oh, I've got this on the other monitor. For anyone wondering, all I'm doing is adjusting my engine sky. So when I build this, it'll go back to dark for anybody using the template, because it'll be using their engine build. But all I did was take the multiply and the emissive, and then put a multiply node in it. What I could probably try is do a power. I could really do with duplicating this into the project files, but I don't think we need to do that. I think it's just a bit over the top. Like that. See if we can brighten it up, but bring the colors back. That's what we want. This is going to be way over the top. That looks... Guys, come on. Fine. There we go. Looks still a little bit washed out. I think other than modifying individual materials, I think that's going to be the case. I just wish the shadows were a little bit darker. But I'm having just a complete blank moment, and I can't remember how to change shadow color. It's typically through here, isn't it? So if I change this to blue. Nope. This is the problem, is when you're modifying it for one and then you're doing it for the other, it just looks really bad. I can never in a million years port a game that the scale of Hitman 3 on Quest. Yeah, it takes some work. As you can see, it's still not perfect either. Even the devs at IO Interactive struggle with PSVR port. Imagine a smaller team on Quest. Yeah, they got a bad job, I think. They didn't get good stuff added. Dead Sector, I noticed 2 bugs with the current GDXR template for 5.4.3. Grabbing and moving cube, got hands stuck in that position. Second was changing the player character. How to do the players by spawner. Those addressed already. Yes, it's all addressed. If you go to let me bring up my link. But yes, it's all addressed, to simply put. So I'll put this in the chat. This is the current notes, basically. I do fix all of what you mentioned, and a whole bunch more. Like, you can go to the Discord, and there's a new APK build that I put on a minute ago, where you can test this out on your headset, and you'll be able to feel all the fixes and get an idea of what's going on with it. If you're also running performance tools on your headset, you'll be able to see that the levels are really good as well now. But yes, this update I will have, no matter what state it is in, submitted to Epic by the end of today. So depending on how fast Epic are, which with it being a Friday, I know it's not great, should be up and running for around Monday. They're normally really good unless it's an American holiday, which I think we're past. How do I make shadows darker? 35 make shadows darker. How do I get darker shadows? Try and enable ambient occlusion world settings. Also, there's environment color settings. If you're using skylight, it's better to set that to black. Skylight set to black, intensity 1. Maybe do intensity 3. We'll see what it puts into the scene. And then might have to bring down world settings to stop the environment intensity. Go full in there. Let's add ambient occlusion back in. Build lighting. I'm just going to run this as though we're doing it in Vulkan Preview. So when it goes up, it'll look different to this because I'll revert the lighting back. I just want to make sure that the APK demo looks pretty good. Which will be pretty nice to have. A brunch bar while we talk. Because I didn't have breakfast. I got out of bed. Went straight on the computer. You can talk. Yeah? Do you want to chat to people?
No.
No? I was until I started. You just get used to it. Jaws feel smoother. Have you changed the timer? I've changed every single timer in the project to be faster. So yes, it should feel smoother. Because we got the performance boost back from the other optimization stuff that I've done, I was able to bring the timers down to 0.01, and then get the benefit out of that, which works really nicely. Ooh. What did I change? Directional light. Put that back to 3. Skylight. Light color. Lighting. Feels good. Awesome. Yeah, where is it? So yeah, I've gone through and I've done a massive overhaul. Large focus of it was on reduced memory size for the project, although I'm pretty sure the APK file size went up by like 4 megs, and I don't know why. But I've optimized everything else. Hand textures. If anyone's using the template for their own thing, they really should change the hands out from the default Epic ones, because the resolution on those materials is ridiculous for what you're actually getting from it. Disable cast shadows on all the blueprints that can move. The reason I did that is because they're incredibly expensive, and the template at the end of the day is targeted to mobile, so I don't think people will mind. And it's super easy to just go back into those, select the mesh, and then turn cast shadows back on, which is really handy. Fixed a whole bunch of bugs, which is quite the quality of life improvement as well. Bunch of additions. Can now swap actors between hands with the same grab components so they don't drop to the floor anymore. And then filtering trilinear and a whole bunch of other changes. So it's been quite the task. Yeah. Galvanic, yo, I'm back. Awesome. We're still doing light builds. So I think once I've got this sorted, this update out, and moved house and done all of that, what I'd like to do is sit down and replace all the environment content in here with basically models, like environment models. They might not be textured or anything like that. We'll still use the block art material, but have an actual modular pack built into it, which I think would be really nice. Show games. Stupid question, of the light bulb's supposed to do something. They are supposed to turn on, but things don't work on the Quest for some reason. But that's actually a good time to stop messing around with this lighting, and we see if we can sort that out. I'm using point light spotlights at the minute, so I'm going to try changing them to point lights and see if that works, because I know we can have a couple of them. Oh yeah, I wanted to ask, did you make any big changes in the BP character? Big changes for the character. I added some code to make it possible to swap models between hands. So we'll do a build and I can show you that. Which is actually super simple. I pretty much just copied it from the main default template. So if you go into here and then you go to the grab section. For yours, if you just add this code onto the end of each section, then it'll work fine. So make sure the right hand at the bottom looks like this, and then go from there. I also modified some stuff in the character controller, just to improve grabbing and climbing, because if you try climbing a movable actor with the right hand, apparently it just stopped working. So I fixed all of that. And then in the character controller, I've also changed the timers. So all the timers now use 0.01, so it's a lot smoother for everything you're doing. Although the one thing it could probably do is standing up, is change that down a little bit. But yeah, we get the performance benefits back from it, so I was able to kind of balance things around in our favor a bit more. Yeah. But all the changes can be seen in the actual post. I've got two of the windows open now, so they can be seen in here. Yeah. I have also changed around a bunch of project settings. So project settings, rendering. We basically no longer use any of the mobile stuff at the top because we just want the performance back. But yeah. Hope that answers it. God, these brunch bars are crap. I don't know how Athena eats so many of them. I know, but I think it's oats. I just don't think I like oats. Asking because a few days ago it took me the whole day to get onto the newest version, and then I saw the Azure page and there was a whole bunch of changes in there as well. Yeah, I really wish there was a way for me to make this easier to upgrade, but I'm not entirely sure how to do that. So I do apologize for that, but it might be worth just having a look through this. If you're on the Patreon, I just did a video on. I've just released a video actually on optimization and improvements. So this one here. So if you're on the Patreon, you can watch this early, otherwise it'll be up next week on YouTube. And I basically used the GDXR template as an example of how I optimized it and how you can do it as well. So for yourself who's already using the template, you don't actually have to go through this if you don't want to, but you can take it, you can see how I've done it and use that logic to go through and change like the size maps of players and that kind of thing. But yeah. Oh, it's best for weight loss. I'm having to eat them a lot recently to lose weight. Okay. I was talking about going on a diet this morning. I could really do with it. Okay, so we've got a build. We put it on the headset. Do you guys want me to just keep uploading builds every time I make a new one, and then you can kind of see the progress? Because if so, I can do that. I can delete these and then just drop a new one into the Discord. Which version of Unreal are you on? So, I didn't want to fuck people over, so this whole thing is still in 5.3.2. And then I'm going to copy it to 5.4, make the changes in there. So after this update, it's probably going to be the last one for 5.3. And then I'm going to move fully over to 5.4. It's all good. I'm learning a lot when I keep going through it again and again. The blueprint part. Cool. At least it's not too much of a downside. I hate that I've got to do it. I hate that there's no way for this to easily just drag and drop in. But I think it comes down to just people heavily modifying their code. It's the same as anything really. Unfortunately, I'm not on Patreon for a while now. Kind of out of cash for the last 2 months. Damn, dude. Don't worry about Patreon, man. But yeah, it'll be up next week, and then you'll be able to take a look through that, and it'll show how to set that all up. It's pretty much just going through using the size map tool to then figure out whereabouts your memory's going. For exactly like BP Mannequins XR left hand. Why have we got left hand in there? We're only using right hand anyway. I'm gonna have to have a look at that. I've got a reference in here somewhere. But I also went through and changed all the references so they're all way lower down. And we've got soft references in there now, so we're not taking up a whole bunch of stuff. Why do they reference the level? Oh, am I reading that wrong? The level references them. Right. They reference the mannequin XR. There isn't really a way for me to stop them referencing this because we use it to snap the hand position and to set it up. I think that's the main kicker. Oh no, this isn't... Why are we referencing B mannequin? The player's the only one that should be referencing this. Player, these guys. Let's have a look. Okay. Which one we have to reference viewer? B and score. That's not helpful. Snap location. And snap location is the only thing I can think of that would reference it. Skeletal mesh, that's fine. I'm intrigued now. There's gotta be something in here. B mannequin, second-hand skeletal mesh. I'm not using it. Aha! Look at that. Okay. Weapons, blueprints. So if I just go through and we check each one, so I think it was pistols. We've just done that one. Still money, components. Whoa. So for anybody wondering what I'm doing, so I'm flicking through the list of variables, and then I'm keeping an eye on the variable type for B mannequins, because if this is creating a hard reference to that variable, or that component / actor. So if I remove this, then we don't need to use that anymore. So as long as I make sure find reference, and then I can delete it, because I already optimized this, so we're not using that reference anyway. So all I got to do is go through now and then make sure we find all of those. I know I could just go straight to it in the list, but if we search through all of them, it's just going to make life a little bit easier. But I also make sure I need to go through and make sure I've got any variables not being used and remove them. So I'll do that off stream quickly. Otherwise it's going to be really boring, but we're going to do this one because it's a good example. Mannequin. I just realized I was looking for XR. I think I probably missed a couple. Delete, compile. Because I rejigged the code. Second hand. Should be fine. We'll test this in a minute. So now I should be able to go to the characters, blueprints, components, or B, where is it? B mannequin. Reference viewer. Still referencing. Aha, there we go. So the reason I'm not checking the build is because this is really important to fix. So you can see, like, if I go to the size map for the door handle, it says door handle. It's using 28 megabytes to load in from disk size, and 6.6 megabytes when we're on the game. So by doing this, so browse. B mannequin XR. We don't have any variables in here for that. Strange. Yeah. Down. Unless I smash everything up. I also forgot to put my controller back on charge. Where's the charge? Oh, it's not even plugged in. not been doing very well this morning. There we go. Hopefully you guys can still see us. Missed chat. Unfortunately I'm not page file. The whole new inventory system. I can't just copy and paste anymore. Damn. In left hand menu, I can't use a line trace to select other options. Triggers sometimes, but not always. Okay. A question for you as well, are there any major changes you had to do to the templates port to PS5? When I tried like a year ago, some things weren't working as intended, but I tried like 2 months ago and it seems to perfectly work, except maybe a couple of minor things. Cool, hopefully those minor things won't be fixed in this. Test for the new version next week and report back. That would be awesome. If you could let me know of any issues at all with it, then I can always take a look and we can go from there. The question is, why is the door handle referencing something that it doesn't have? Yeah. It's definitely referencing there it is. Cool, so now if we go to footprints, I keep losing it. B underscore mannequin XR, we right click and we do reference viewer. We can now say that we've removed a reference to that. VR character Manny is fine. I'm pretty sure. Scale mesh component. I'm pretty sure this is what we use for the hands. So VR character, VR hands, B mannequin XR. So yeah, we're using the skeletal component. We are using this in the project. So we can't really remove that out of the players, which is fine. Which looks good. That looks way better now. So now if I go to blueprints and then actors, we take a look at the weapons, like the pistols, which we had before. I can then go to size map, and now they're 90 megabytes down. We're just referencing skeletal mesh, hands, pistol. Cool. So the textures are the problem here. So browse textures. These should be changed. 512. Yeah, that should be fine then to ignore. I'm going to do a build, I'm going to test it on the headset, and we'll test that the two-handed stuff still works fine since I've just changed a bunch. Project settings. There we go. We'll have a look. Show off your work. Let's have a look. One project today, we're in teaser trailer, plus few days. Nice! I need to switch over to DaVinci. Like, I really need to just switch over to DaVinci and get rid of Premiere. It looks cool. I can't wait to see it. What I'll do once this is done is I will replace this one. We'll kind of keep it updated. I could probably get rid of this material, like. I'll leave it. We can get away with it. The best part is it's free. I know. I've got it installed. I've got DaVinci on one of my desktops. All right, put a new build up. Let's have a look at lighting. Do anything that Pro can do and sometimes better. Yeah, the problem is I've got some stuff already set up in Pro to make like the end credit scenes and that easier. But I just don't have the time to sit down and redo it all. Like, so difficult at the time lately. Let's have a look. Hopefully you guys can see it. Got some weird artifacts going on with my camera or my headset. Got like a whole bunch of pixelation lines in the main homepage. That looks way better. Text is still crap. Oh, I also got it so if you close the door, then you can kind of push yourself with it. It's not physics, but it works to move the player, so you can't clip through the door, which is really nice. Two hands still working. Yeah, if you go up to these guns, you can actually now swap them between hands, and it's all so much smoother. I really wish I could fix the text. Aliasing is so bad. My GPU's on 4 as well. I don't know if you guys can see it. Yeah, you can see it. So the GPU level is on 4. The CPU level keeps going up every now and again. But I'm not too sure what's causing it. I don't, if I turn away here, and we give it a second, I'm pretty sure it drops. Or will drop. It shouldn't constantly stay at 4. I had it down to 2 the other day. I don't know if I've changed a project setting. Unless it's the trilinear filtering. Say now we're down at 3. Right. Goes back up to 4. Does anybody know if they fixed occlusion culling with 5.3? So I can't remember. Object settings, rendering, occlusion culling. Put it back on and we see what happens. We only change that one. Discard. Android Vulkan. I haven't changed anything in here. Forcefully rough can be on. Force non-metal. Didn't take too long. Let's try this. The CPU might be going up because of the animations as well. They're making it work on the timeline. The CPU's the one thing that's pretty much constantly low. So it should be okay. I'm going to try doing this and we're going to see what happens. Because the other thing that I can do... Oh crap, we're pairing 8,000 shaders. Okay, gotta wait for that to finish. I'm gonna make it faster. What was I gonna say? Yeah. Animation timeline is this one. I can't remember if I'm using a timeline. I think I'm just using the... Yeah, this is the interrupt to movement, which is provided by Epic. So it's one of their own custom components. So it's super simple. It should be fine. Drop that down. We'll see what happens. On my project, performance was a lot better with culling on. So, and then show game on my project, performance was with culling on, which is strange. So you've got to take into account the platform. If you're doing desktop or PSVR or anything like that, I'm pretty sure you can keep occlusion culling on and it will improve performance. But when 5.0 came out, they removed software occlusion culling and it didn't build properly to Android, which is why when you build it to a Quest in 5, the performance tanked like unbelievably. And it's the case is to do render distance to reduce that down. And then some people made custom components, which is, it worked, but it was a bit finicky because you had to manually do on every single thing in your game. So I haven't implemented any of that into this, which is why we'll try it out and we'll see what difference we get. It says preparing shaders, but I think I'm just going to build it and see what happens. Yeah, I sent you a message, but I don't think anything. Pardon? See that. Let's select folder, save. Yeah. I mean, I can't remember if they fixed it in 5.3 though. Software culling for mobile. Why did it put it into history? Okay. Because this was the issue, 2022. And I made this one in 21 where it worked, and then it just didn't work. But I don't know how old this is, or if it's been sorted. Because I think a lot of the... like 4.27 is it's why a lot of people say to use it, is because it's got the occlusion culling. This is the worst thing, is when you Google something and it's your own stuff. Occlusion culling for mobile VR. I enabled fixed foveated rendering and it broke. This was, it's not the only reason to use 5. It hasn't been fixed, at least in 5.3. Sucks. Oh no, I changed it and now I was waiting for 118 fucking shaders. Crap. What to do. I just heard a massive crash upstairs, I don't know what's going on. Sense Covariance on PC and I was building the town on the quest, so I turned Occlusion culling off. Yeah. Hasn't been fixed, at least in 5.3. Yeah, it sucks. The only thing I say is we wait for this to finish, then we do a build with it, and we see what happens. If we can keep it on, and it's not too bad, then it is probably better for anyone doing desktop side of it. Than just turning it off for them, because hopefully they release an update at some point which actually has that fix. QE 5.4 soft. Software occlusion culling. Can't find anything. No, I'm not seeing anything. Which sucks. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's been fixed. The only thing we can do is just wait. We made a bunch of other changes to the Android Vulkan stuff, so we'll see what happens with that. It should also improve performance quite a bit. Because the goal right now is to just bring that GPU level down. If the GPU level stays high, just adding textures isn't going to help. So we just got to go through there. That is... I'm going to reference all of those. Fine. That's way better. Skeletal mesh and then animation blueprint. Animation blueprints are always going to be high. And then character Quinn and Manny reference that directly because we use it for the hands. Mission blueprint. Wait, we got a loop. B_mannequin XR references animation blueprint mannequin XR. But then animation blueprint _mannequin XR references mannequins XR. Let this build do its thing, but we're going to take a look at this. reference it anywhere. Yeah, I can't actually remove that. Unless I pass it through. And initialize animation. Excuse when the animation is initialized. That tech guy, have you got a multiplayer work yet? No. I've got motion controllers and camera tracking, but multiplayer hasn't been my focus with this template. The idea is to keep this as much as blueprints as possible, so it's easier to use. Adding multiplayer is just a whole new level of C++ complexity that not everybody needs, and it also blows out the design of all the blueprints. So you got to keep that in mind. Plus, if somebody's planning on doing multiplayer, I'd rather they implement it themselves so they know what systems they're using and how they want to use it. Because I don't want to be like, this is how I've done it with zero experience in multiplayer, and then have people tell me, oh, it's absolutely crap, it doesn't work. A whole bunch of bugs, because I am not a network specialist. And unfortunately, I can't afford to hire one. But I hope that answers the question. I know there are some plugins coming out, some VR plugins coming out, which supposedly has multiplayer replication built into it. It has, I believe it has it set up, but it's entirely C++. So unless you can work with that, you think you're kind of fucked. But yeah. Oh, this tiny little fly. Go away. Developing a multiplayer game looks like hell. It looks ridiculous. That's not even including VR multiplayer. I think it's gonna sound a bit, I don't know how it's gonna sound. I feel like if you need to purchase an asset pack off the marketplace to help you build your VR game as it is, I don't think you're at the right level to be able to work on a multiplayer project at all, even with that as a starting point. It's just the complexity is so insane for network management, and then you've got mobile stuff. It's a whole new level of stress. Yeah, so I put in multiplayer for mine. I use blueprints. I did try implementing blueprint multiplayer into a version of this. The hands tracking and the controllers and the headset tracking was fine. Player tracking capsule positions was a bit of a nightmare, and then getting the grab component to replicate was just nearly impossible. I gave up on it. I didn't give up, I just ran out of time to sit down and build it. Plus, as one dev, trying to put multiple headsets on at the same time and connect to a PC is just, it's fucking unbelievable, man. It's so difficult to do. BG, do you know of any good multiplayer tutorials? Not free. I know Stephen Ulibari has a multiplayer, a C++ multiplayer course on Udemy. I own it, but I haven't been through it yet. But it looks extremely promising and probably the most in-depth tutorial there is out there. But yeah. How are we doing on this? It should finish in a second. It is almost done. Now. 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 Hey! I cheated. I saw the build success. Our size went up. Our size went up just by adding software occlusion culling and the override tags. You can do one headset, use standalone, and check the settings to have headset work for the active viewport. Not entirely sure, I haven't done it before. But either way, it's like you've still got to have someone to hold the other two motion controllers so you can track them. It's just, it's so difficult to do. Like the only way I would tackle multiplayer is if I had another member, like another full-time team member that I could put the effort into, focus on learning it. Because right now I'm just right up against the clock. Okay, so we're free, so we're crashing now. So we do all of that and then we crash. But the question is, because it's still compiling, preparing shaders, or is it because we changed something in here? Which I think it might be something in here. So let's do a test. We'll turn off software occlusion culling. We'll do a new build. This one should be a lot faster. There. You can do one headset, use standalone. Check the settings to have the headset work with the activated viewport. The controls also switch over with the headset. So what, you just launch in standalone game and then you can switch between them. We'll try it in a minute, we'll see what happens. Need to make sure it stops crashing first. I used to live stream from other games to learn. Nice. I haven't had a chance to watch any in a while. Yeah, if anybody knows how to get grab component to replicate between players, I think that'll just fix most of it. Because I can build a simple blueprint to do replication. Like component replication. Which would be pretty sick. Like if I could find an easier workflow to do multiplayer, I'm more than happy to have a look at adding it to this. I think it'd be great. I just wouldn't want to go over the top with it. I don't want to bog developers down, because I know at the end of the day, if you're doing blueprint, if you're doing a VR game, multiplayer is gonna require C++. But the problem is if I implement C++ into this, it locks out a whole bunch of devs, beginner devs, because it just makes it more complicated to work with. So if I could do like a basic, like a super basic version, I'd be happy with that. Yeah, when I was doing it, I was never able to get the to replicate the actor positions for the grab components. So anything with a grab component that attaches to the player's hand, was never able to get it to replicate its position in the scene. So it was kind of pointless. If you can't see a gun moving around, it just makes life way more difficult. Okay, so software occlusion culling didn't do it. We should be using Vulkan. So this one. I redid my grab component and simplified what was happening between the player and the grab component. See, that's a problem. With the template, I do a lot of stuff through the grab component. We use it to read a lot of information. It's still relatively small. So the grab component itself is quite small. It doesn't look like it's changed that much. But there is like throwing physics and try release has been modified slightly. And a bunch of other things. But yeah. So will 3 scenes city video be good enough for 30-second around teaser trailer? I don't know. It'll depend on the scenes and the content, I think. I think without showing it to people, I think that's the only way you're gonna be able to get an idea. Even my grab component has changed so much. Yeah, I think it's the first thing people modify. Okay, this is gonna take forever again. Let's cancel that. So multiplayer. In my character blueprints, character manning. I don't have the menu set up anymore. This will be interesting. I'm gonna see what happens. I switched to physics based. I think that should work better. But it's more expensive. Like physics calculations is so much more expensive to replicate. Oh, I'm not in. Wait there. Crashed it. Load up. There we go. I love it when I learn something new on stream. Absolutely love it. Headset just says loading. Why? I don't need new drivers now. Oh, we're gone. It restarted. You don't need to have multiplayer menu to host and join. It's all automatic. That doesn't make sense to me. You need a host and join. Testing in this, you could do it without the menu, but you're still going to need system. I've still got my old one in here. I removed it. Okay. Come on. Come on. Where's my... I can't tell what's dying and what's working. Come on. This Pro, the strap is so nice, but the controllers are so crap. There, should be fine. Come on. The lights are on, but nothing's... They're not connecting. We have to restart the headset. Okay, restart that while it's doing its thing. Platform. Is this still sorting out shaders? Okay, we'll wait for that to finish. That's it, guy. UE gives a lot of control over how often physics is updated. And you have the server do all the physics and replicate the location of the actors to the client. The thing is, though, Unreal does a lot of it, but you still have to do a lot of the work on your end. You can't just rely on what's in here, because at the end of the day, all the physics code and network replication stuff is designed for desktop, console, high-end performing machines. Whereas you're trying to put this all onto a Meta Quest, which is basically a mobile phone with a GPU strapped to your face. So you've got to take into account the hardware limitations of the device you're targeting, and whether you're... and how you're running it. Let's say you're doing a local server. You're not just running the game on the headset, you're then running a server that other people are connecting to. So that's going to tank performance unless you're doing a remote build. So you're hosting a server somewhere and then they connect to it. That would free up performance on the headset even more. So there's a whole bunch of different things you got to consider, which is why it's like I don't like getting involved with networking. You also need custom builds of Unreal. For example, multiplayer on Quest, it's recommended that you use the source build from Meta because it is built for that. And a bunch of other stuff. So it's not just a case of adding physics to it and then going from there. You gotta consider your threads, CPU, GPU, and all that kind of stuff. Come on, is that number going up? I can't tell. No, it's going down. Sent you a DM on Discord. With a look. I'll keep it off for now. like the transition. I like how you go from like outside a city car to then the city. I kind of wish I saw a little bit more of the woman with the hand, like at the beginning, like the floating hand, because it cuts off just before you get there. I think it's a good start. It's good. Shows you go from one place to another, and then it gives the idea that there's something to do with the city in there. I think it works pretty well. Are we done? No! Every time I click off, it's like, do more. Still a whip, sorry, a little bit right. That's all good. Come on. Need to wait for this to finish. I think that's what's causing the low frame rate. Oh. 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 Sorry. It's part of the story, so I don't really want to show how much. Okay. I'd maybe see what others say, but it might be worth doing it where you cut it off before you see the torso, so you're just seeing the arm then. Well, I'm going to check my calendar because I know I've got a tutoring session later today. 1 o'clock, so we got about 45 minutes. Okay. 45 minutes left to get these freaking shaders to build. There we go. Looks so much better in Vulkan now. I'm really annoyed by the text. I wish the text renderer was better. I tried using the text example from Meta. Somebody recommended it in the Discord yesterday, so I took a look at it. I tried implementing the stereo layer text. The problem was you could see it through the walls. And then it required a texture with the text on it to be able to make it visible in really high quality. So you went from using something like this, which is quite small in size, to having to load a texture for each one of these. So it's like you gotta consider the trade-off. Come on, 400 shaders. Can get this done. Lights, I gotta figure out what's going on with the bloody lights as well, because the point lights just aren't working on mobile. Is that simply the problem? Project has movable directional lights on mobile disabled. Start this. Jill, good morning. Morning, just playing around with some stuff, doing some optimizing, breaking it, same as usual. Now it's doing them shaders because I didn't wait for it. Oh. Ah, you can do it. Work. Oh, so has Meta got any more documentation we can take a look at? Because this is the gold mine. We've done that. High detail texture. Set your bitmap bias to on high detail textures. Set your bitmap bias to minus 0.01. Weird. Okay. Let's try and do a package project. If we can get the lights to work, it will be a good stream. I don't know if I should have prioritized that to begin with, but I think having it, the whole thing look nice. Like, looking like this on mobile is pretty sick. If we can get the movable lights to work without having to build new blueprints, would save a lot of time. There we go. Let's have a look. I might have to fix these blueprints anyway, because some of these lights should be on by default. Like this one should be on. I don't want to keep getting the rendering flags because of my headset. Always the worst thing when you just gotta wait for builds. Never get anything like this for Unreal. It's always Unity. I don't understand why Unreal doesn't get get the love. It's really annoying. Instant builds would be the dream. They would be. Mega J. English or Japanese? English is preferred. I don't speak Japanese, unfortunately. They just scrapped their other software, haven't they? So I was talking to one of the developers on LinkedIn about the Haptic Studio. I think I mentioned it in the previous stream that they've just updated it, so it now has PSVR 2 support, I think it is. It works with a couple of different file outputs, so you can now use it on different platforms. Is it going to be in here? Export. Yeah, so you can actually export haptics for iOS now as well. I'm pretty sure you mentioned it was iOS, like PSVR, with a .wav file or something, and then through it like normal. But I haven't used it in a little while. It would be brilliant if they used it where you don't need the plugin. 31, cool. Show game, PSVR. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you can use the haptics on PSVR now. I don't think he would appreciate me putting his profile on stream, but I'll see if I can find exactly what he said. God, LinkedIn doesn't make it easy to find posts, does it? Here we go. Meta Haptic Studio now supports cross-platform export. With the 1.2 release, you can export your haptic assets as .ahap for iOS or .wav for VR, or console systems that use PCM data and input, e.g. Pico. Meta Haptic Studio and Haptic SDK have already solved many of the core efficiency issues around haptic development for Quest, but we know that cross-platform rework is a crucially expensive aspect of app development. This is our first step towards enabling reuse of all haptic assets seamlessly across your most important platforms. But yeah, I'll see about the documentation here. It's going to take us back. Yeah, it just took me back to the haptics page. But yeah, definitely check it out. Mega J, I just subbed you. Thank you. There's a discussion happening on the Meta Oculus Discord as well. Yeah, I imagine it's been pretty common. It'll be cool. Nice, build's done. But it would be cool if you could just bring in the haptics without having to do it. So like waveform. I don't know if Unreal just takes waveform natively. Because if it does and you don't need the package, then you don't have to worry about it. That's the wrong one. There we go. Uninstall. Install. Let's see if this works. Hopefully it does, otherwise I'm screwed. Because I broke something and I don't know what I broke. But we undid all them project settings that we changed, wasn't it? Software occlusion culling we turned back off. Then Android Vulgan. The only thing I've done is mobile shadow mapping quality is still on 5. I might have to change that back down because that could break it and impact performance. So let's do this. Oh. What the fuck is going on? My controllers are so hot. It doesn't feel like they're charging. Is anybody else having issues with their Pro controllers? Controller's not connecting. Press any button to wake up. The controllers are on. I'm gonna have to just switch headset. I'll put them on charge for a bit and see what happens. I saw some people on Reddit complaining about their controllers not working properly on their Pro. And I thought it was just going to be a one-off case, but I don't know if it's now affecting mine. Which I really... The light's just blue, it's not charging. I don't know what blue... I should know by now, isn't it? I don't know what blue light means. Okay. This one's going to tell me that my controller's updating. Have they just had an update and they've screwed them? Okay, why have I got multiple windows? Wait for it. Casting crashed. Did it crash because I moved the window? Taking a long time to install. Come on. I wish ADB could give you more information. Do it. I have no idea what's going on now. I feel like all my headsets are just crapped out. I don't know if this is done. 6th of the 9th, date created. I'll see if I can load it anyway. Not working. Oh, the CMD just finished. You're stuck in a load screen. Like, it's literally just a black load screen. Oh, and then everything's crashed, I think. Why are they not working? My right controller is just blue. My controllers were updated, and after they finished, my left controller wouldn't turn on after restarting, so I unpaired it and tried to repair it again. Then I got stuck on a blue light, which I'll call the blue light of death. Thanks. No, I won't even pair. This is frustrating. You spend so much money on a device and then you just can't use it. Try launching this again. Oh, headset's still stuck in a black screen. Done? Please. What did I change? Just crashing, but it's stuck on an infinite load screen. I wonder if it's possible because I built it with Vulkan enabled, but I don't think that should make a difference. Try restarting this headset as well. Controllers aren't working on that. Does anybody else have problems with their headsets today? I don't know, because I restarted that headset and I don't know if it's just updated something. And that's what's caused it to mess up. The right controller is just still blue. Left controller is tracking. Press right controller not connected. Press any button to wake it up. It's really hot. I can hold the button down and it vibrates. If I hold it down, it goes green and then blue. What the hell? Press any button to wake up the controller. You've definitely got battery, mate. Come on. It's only the right controller I've ever had problems with. Should be problem charging. It sucks because the freaking Pro is my favorite headset. And worse, if I move in house, I can't even contact support to get it sorted because I won't be here to receive anything. I'm gonna get up the Meta app, see what it says. Do at this new build. I've had issues with controllers not showing in Unreal. Usually just restart the headset fix. I've done that, and then it's just broken even more. If I put the stuff on the charging platform, the left controller does its thing. It just starts charging. But the right controller is just blinking blue. Blue light blinking 3 times when your controller is successfully paired. Once you're paired, it's not paired though. Tools. Past week. Okay, build. And I've got a meeting in like 25 minutes and I need a headset to work. I also need to open up that project. Oh. Let that go in the background. Headset is on. Is it true that you can't even use Quest Pro controllers with a Wi-Fi connection? No, I don't think that's not true. You can definitely use them without a Wi-Fi connection. Okay. Go. Have you tried factory resetting the controllers? I don't know how. Did my Quest many times with no Wi-Fi controllers and all. Yeah. Miyaki, good afternoon. Good to see you again. I feel like it's been a while. No, Q3. Either way, none of the controllers support need Wi-Fi, I don't think. Just doesn't make much sense to me for that. Cool. Let's open up the Meta app. We'll see what the hell's going on. I don't know why this headset is so fucking slow. I feel like it's just having a... We went from starting off really strong to just having no luck. And they've changed the app around as well, which makes it more difficult. Devices. I don't know why it tells me that I've got my Oculus Rift is visible. It's not. It hasn't been plugged in for a very long time. Meta Quest 3. Let's see if I can connect it. There we go. Okay. Lights still aren't working. What did we change? Because the GPU level is now on 2. We changed the headset. Quest 3 has a better processor. So now I'm getting better performance. That makes more sense, doesn't it? Anywhere I go now, we got that performance boost. It looks way, way better. Apart from the text on the walls. I forgot I can share my screen, can't I? I might make the lines blacker on the materials. Casting keeps stopping. Yeah, you keep stopping it for some reason. Is it casting? Nope. Does this update just wreck meta? Hold the A and Oculus button on the right controller until the LED begins flashing red/white. Hold the X and menu buttons on the left. Flash is green, green, blue. And I don't know. But, so don't forget, I'm going to put a build in. For anyone wanting to check it out. I don't know why I can't use these. Changing that brought it back, so I wonder... The lights also still don't work. Range and 40 shaders. This. We'll wait for these shaders to finish and then we'll go through it. That's fine. Oh, my wife's packing up the house while I'm trying to sort this out. Patreon shouting at me. Done? We done? Yeah, we done. Okay, platforms, Android, package. There's got to be some reason the lights aren't working. We've enabled it in the project settings and that goes through, but they're just not displaying in the headset. When they should. What I'm going to do, cancel that real quick. Point light, we want a spotlight. Okay. Spotlight. Red. There we go. We do this and then I'm gonna have to call it. Cause I gotta go for a meeting. Let's see if I can get my freaking headsets to work. I might just have to give up on the Pro. Oh. Do I unplug? I might have to charge the controller separately and not do it through the dock. Don't know. I don't know if that's the issue. But they're really hard to touch. I gotta pack up a headset anyway, just keep one of them out. Keep the Quest 3 out. Bit smaller form factor, isn't it? Let's go, let's do this. If anybody has any idea how I can improve the text without using images, let me know. Because it's the one thing that's just ruining the whole look of the project right now. Or at least the look of the demo. Be slow. You think I can get away with just keeping it this bright for the main level? I just put some text in there to explain that it's bright because I calibrated it for mobile VR. JL, I've been struggling with text since day one. If you're struggling with text, take a look at... where is it? Do I still have it? This document here, this blog post. Because if you're doing a game, there's no harm doing that. But because I've got so much text on the walls in this one, it doesn't make it a reasonable thing to do. But you can check this out. And then you can use that. And then you can also take a look at this project. Which is on GitHub by Meta. Which is a Unreal rendering techniques. And then you can go from that. Between both of these, it shows you how to fix all your text. So if you're doing it for a game, it's a lot easier to work with. But for this example, it's just not functioning properly for what I need. But yeah. I don't think you can add a black outline to this. You can do it in... Wait, what? Occlusion cull is completed. No luck. We either start a stream really badly and then it starts going alright, or we start a stream really good and then it just ends badly. There's no middle ground. Yeah, I left occlusion culling off. Okay. So I don't know why that popped up. By the way, are you putting out the update today? I want to upload the update to Meta, pick one. I want to push out the update to Epic Games today, no matter what point this template's at. So yes, I'll be uploading it, but I don't know how long it'll take for Epic to process the update. But I think with the amount of changes in it, it's going to be a good point to sort out. Or some later this week before moving out. The whole plan is to get it done today because of the move next week. I'm going to be too busy. So I'm going to probably good to wrap up here. I'm going to go do my other meeting, which is I think 2 hours. I'm not entirely sure. And then after that, I'm going to just knuckle down and focus on getting the build out and going from there. Because I've got to convert this to 5.4 and then I've got to add the changes in there to make it work. But because of timing, it basically has to be out by the end of today. Has to be uploaded by the end of today. Which is why I've been sort of focusing on performance as well. Because I want to put a demo up onto the marketplace page. So, trying to work on that. Which is why it's so frustrating about the text. And I might just put a message in there saying, please ignore the text. You wouldn't have this all in your game. You can do different techniques. Or something. People don't care about the text at the end of the day. But yeah, just optimization pass was what I was going for. I'm going to do some bug testing in a bit. I know there's some stuff with UMG buttons I got to change, but if anybody does want to go through the APK that is currently in the Discord, and then let me know about any bugs or anything like that, it'll be really helpful in the next hour or so. And then once I'm done, I can see which ones I can blast out really quick to get sorted. But yeah, I probably only got about another hour and a half on this before getting it all sorted and uploaded. But yeah. Alright everyone, thank you so much for dropping by. It's been good. I think we made some good progress. Learned some new stuff. But yeah, try and do some more streams. And maybe stream some of the move. Haven't decided yet. See how much of a mess it is. But yeah.
Stream it or vlog it.
Stream it or vlog it. You could do both. Do some streams on the phone. Be awful to read and watch probably, but could be fun. Just Athena running around with a mobile. But yeah.
Mine.
Yeah, that'll be it. Cool. Alright guys, I will speak to you all later on. If you're in Patreon, thank you so much. If you're in the Discord, you've got any questions, feel free to ask them there. And I'll start rambling. Bye.